Hello everybody. Today I thought I'd just share my top 10 movie picks that you should definitely watch, especially during quarantine. Here we go.
Movie, 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 movie.
Okay, so now that the terrible intro is over, I'm just going to start with number 10. My number 10 pick for a movie that you should definitely watch is With Nell and I. I doubt that you've heard of this film before. Absolutely fantastic though, I can guarantee it. The reason I didn't put it higher on this list, it is my favourite film, best film ever, in my opinion, but the reason I didn't put it higher on this list was because it was very poorly rated on IMDb by a lot of people who didn't quite understand what it was about. So I've put it up at number 10 because I just think it needs to be included. I think you should give it a try. You might think that it's bad, but I can guarantee that some of you out there will think that it's the best film ever, just like me. So yeah, give that one a watch, definitely. At number 2 on my list, I would place Gladiator, starring Russell Crowe. Reason for this being mainly that I really enjoy anything that has to do with Romans, but also because it is a really great film. It's a bit simplistic, I believe, but I just really like the whole style of the film and the way it goes about things. I'd say it's a classical swords and sandals film. You've absolutely got to watch it if you haven't already. I think most of you will probably have watched Gladiator already, but for those of you out there who haven't, definitely worth a try. I would seriously recommend that film. It's fun, it's simple. You don't really need to know anything about the Roman Empire or anything like that before going into that, but it might just awaken your interest. Who knows? Next up is number 8. For number 8, I've chosen Last Action Hero, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, really like the film. It's a comedy, and it sort of takes the mickey out of classical action films, these Rambo type films where bullets flying everywhere, muscular men saying "I'll be back" and stuff like that. So, yeah, really rather funny. Premise is that some person out of an action hero world comes into the real world and has to fight against the villain there. Pretty good. Definitely watch that one. That's pretty much all I can say about the film so far without giving too much away. You'll probably find out for yourself. Coming in at number 7 would be Inglourious Basterds. It's a film by Quentin Tarantino. It's about killing Nazis. A bit exaggerated maybe, but still absolutely brilliant. I love it. You'll probably love it as well. It's very cool. I think the reason I put it up here at number 7 is because I think it isn't the best Quentin Tarantino film. That one will be coming up later in the list, but I think it's definitely one that you have to watch, and it was my first Quentin Tarantino film, so I have a certain sort of sentimental attachment to it. Yeah, just go and watch it, I'd say. Spot number 6 on my list is occupied by The Princess Bride. This is a film deeply rooted in pop culture and very funny. Comedy film, obviously. It's another spoof on the classic fairy tale style of storytelling. Very funny. There's a lot of gags for everybody, really, for all ages. So yeah, definitely watch that one. Check it out. Just a quick interruption. I'm Lenny. I would absolutely love for you to
Subscribe, 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 subscribe.
Okay, thank you for listening to that quick message, and a special thanks to anybody who subscribed. So, really, thank you. You've really made my day if you did something like that. I'd say that I will now move on to number 5. The number 5 spot is actually shared by two films that are very similar, both by Monty Python. They are Life of Brian and The Holy Grail. I think everybody has heard of them, if not seen them before. If you haven't seen them, then have you been living under a rock or something like that? Those are seriously some of the films that you must have seen before. They are really hilarious. I myself have watched them multiple times, although I think they get a bit repetitive sometimes, but still, absolutely fantastic pieces of art, really. If you really enjoy these two films, then you can also watch Monty Python's Flying Circus, which is their skit show, really, which is also absolutely hilarious. It's got loads of short skits. I really like them. Yeah, I mean, why am I even describing Monty Python? You all know about them. I think I'll just move on to the next film now. I can promise now, though, that there's not going to be any more comedy films, so you can breathe easy now. Coming in at number 4 would be The Last Samurai, starring Tom Hanks. Brilliant film. I think it has a very compelling storyline, and you'll really fall in love with the characters. That's all I can say about the characters. The storyline itself is very interesting. It handles somebody coming from America to teach the Japanese all about firearms, and the last of the samurai being extinguished by these firearms. It's very historical, but also very heartwarming in a certain sense, and also very brutal. Not brutal in the sense of that there's a lot of gore and stuff like that, but brutal in the sense of that this movie isn't your classical Hollywood thing where everything goes well in the end, but actually sort of shows a true story. Not, it isn't true in this case, but it sort of shows how a true story would go. For number 3 on my list, I would like to talk about Pulp Fiction, another pop culture film. I think you'll really enjoy it if you haven't already watched it. It stars Samuel L. Jackson. It's another Quentin Tarantino film. It's the one I was talking about before when I told you that I was going to add another one on this list. Pulp Fiction is very interesting. It handles one single day, but the timelines are all mixed up. It's very quotable, funny, but also extremely interesting. So I'd definitely watch that one. Very exciting. It's one of the best films out there, critically acclaimed and everything, so yeah. Okay then, already at number 2, I see. So, for those of you still watching, my number 2 pick would be The Usual Suspects. The Usual Suspects is a gangster film, but if I had to describe it in one single sentence, I'd just say, best plot twist ever. Seriously, if you haven't watched this film before, you should so watch this film. When the plot twist came around, my mouth fell open because it was just such a good plot twist. You really couldn't see it coming. So that's definitely one that you absolutely have to watch. I seriously implore you to watch this one if you haven't already. If you watched this one already, then you know exactly what I'm talking about with the plot twist. I don't really want to say anything more about the contents of the film, just because I really don't want to give even a single spoiler. You'll just love the film. It's fantastic. The plot twist, absolutely amazing. And finally now, let's get to the number 1 spot. The number 1 spot is actually occupied by a whole film studio. It's called Studio Ghibli, and they just make one good film after another. I really love all of their films, except for one called Red Turtle, where they had guest animators on, so that one's a bit bad. But every other film of theirs is absolutely fantastic. If I were you, I would start with, I'd say, Spirited Away and maybe My Neighbor Totoro. Those are probably the ones that you've heard of before. There's also Princess Mononoke, which is also my favorite, and I think that's the most brilliant of them all. But I think what makes Studio Ghibli so appealing to everybody is that there is no inherent bad guy. Everybody has their own story and their own reasons for doing things. And you might think at some stage that somebody is really good, but then it turns out that they're doing something evil and the other way around. So it's very complex in the sense that there isn't really a bad guy, but that it's just a story, and you've got to decide for yourself what is right and what is wrong. So that's absolutely brilliant. Another thing that I really like about them is the animation of the grass. Seriously, I'm not saying anything stupid here. The way they animate certain things, for example, grass flowing in the wind, is really, really beautiful. So I'd really suggest watching those films. There's about 10 or so that I can count off the top of my head. I'll tell you what, I'll leave the link to Studio Ghibli in the description as well, alongside all the other films. So please, if I can ask you to watch one film, please just check out one from Studio Ghibli. They're all fantastic. Okay then, if you're still hanging around, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be leaving every single link to IMDb or their IMDb page in the description, so you can check out the reviews and ratings for the films if you're interested. If you do watch one of these films, or maybe have watched one of these films before, then please do let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what you think about them. Otherwise, I'd say thanks a bunch for watching, and please do subscribe. It would mean an awful lot to me, and it would just help the channel grow, which is my ultimate goal. So yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching the video. Before I go, how about a quick game of rock, paper, scissors, okay? So, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I have paper. If you've won, let me know in the comments. If you've lost, let me know in the comments, okay? That's it from my side. Thank you so much again for watching, and for those of you who have subscribed, thanks again. Like, seriously, you've really made my day. That's about it. I'm going to be bringing out a video at some stage with my top 10 series to watch, also during quarantine, and maybe I'll do something else. Oh, and do keep your eyes peeled for my one dislike special. I'm going to be giving my cats some butter, so if you like cats and you like butter, then definitely stick around for that one. Okay, I'm just rambling now, I notice, so I'm going to say goodbye now. Bye! Very quick edit, please leave a like as well. Now seriously, bye!